We start with some stories on health, and accessibility of healthcare in La and its environs will remain a challenge as the redevelopment of the demolished hospital is not likely to be completed anytime soon. Government in 2020 pulled down the La General Hospital, describing it as a structurally defective hospital, and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs Oseche Mensah-Bonsu says the reconstruction has been delayed because the sponsors have withheld their funds due to the ongoing IMF program.
President Akufo-Addo on August 10, 2020 cast sought for the commencement of the construction of the La General Hospital redevelopment project, but work is yet to start. A plea for the La people that has gotten Odo Dio MP talking tough.
Mr. Speaker, on this note, I am the chairman of the Greater Accra Caucus of the minority. You are on our land, and I'm assuring you, if we don't see it in the budget, we will not make the budget in this house come out. We will make sure that sitting will be disrupted until we see the La General Hospital captured in the budget. We will show you that we are on our land. In fact, this will be another showdown. We will make sure that the Minister of Health and the Minister of Finance will not enjoy the peace in their ministries. We are going to marshal the people of La and Kamachi to occupy your offices if you don't work on the La General Hospital.
Reacting to the statement, the majority leader, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, outlined reasons for the delay in the commencement of work on the hospital.
The funding has been withheld by the sponsors. The Speaker, until the nation is giving a clean bill of health by the IMF, it's going to be difficult for the funding to be released, which is why government now wants to resort to some other means. The Speaker, I know on authority that government now wanted to situate it within the context of Agenda 111. However, if you should resort to that, it will mean that the facility will have to be scaled down a bit, which is not what was originally contained in the agreement that came to this House.
We'll stay on health now, and the Ghana Health Service has justified its decision to spend 5 million cedis on what it says is a rebranding exercise. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, says the aim is to improve the generally working environment of staff and make them identifiable through name tags. He maintains the whole project will be funded using internally generated funds.
This program started way back in 2020, and it was the COVID that made us shelve it. It's a process. It's not a one-time event that in the next 3 months you are going to spend 5 million cedis to rebrand. We have given indications on what every facility over the next period should work towards. And so it's not like it's money sitting somewhere. So it is a slow process. And mind you, Ghana Health Service is not a small organization. We have over 120,000 staff. If you add our casualty, that's about 140,000. We have more than 7,000 health facilities across the country. So it's not a small organization that if you are doing to divide it by the 7,000 facilities, you can see how much each facility is spending to do that. But this is not a one-time event. This is a process where we believe that, and I'm sure if you went to a facility and the environment is clean, the chair you sit on is nicer than you used to be. The person who will see you and see his name, and you're able to in the night see where the facility is. You're able to tell whether the facility is open or closed and what service they offer. But I think it is not too much, and it is not coming from a pot of money that we are taking, but it's part of the work that each facility will mobilize from their community, from the IGF, etc., to ensure that they improve the care for the people of Ghana. So that is what the service is supposed to do.
Still on health, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital's Reno unit has reopened after more than 5 months of closure for outpatients with kidney diseases needing dialysis. Now, patients have been asked to submit their current laboratory results to the facility, a prerequisite before being scheduled for dialysis. Godwin Asidiba has the latest updates and reports.
Enoch Bracco, a patient with kidney disease in the waiting area of the Reno unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Weak and pale with longing eyes, he is one of many outpatients scheduled for vital dialysis at the facility.
Yesterday they called me to come for lab request, so I come and do it today so that I'll get a chance to do the dialysis for today. Now they said they have opened, but we are going to pay $380. Normally it's cool, but we will take it like that. We will take it because outside we pay 500 cedis or 600 cedis or so. Yeah. So we will manage it for some time.
The outpatient facility was closed in May, forcing him to seek dialysis at private centers, which proved financially challenging, resulting in a reduction of his weekly sessions from 3 to 1.
380 I can afford in a week. Yeah, I'll try my best to come for dialysis on once in a week. I'm supposed to do 3 times, but you know the money problem, so I don't have the money, so that's why I'm coming only one.
Rabiu Yande, along with his wife, has arrived and expressed relief at the moment.
I'm a bit relief, at least. It's quite better than doing it outside. I feel Kolebu is the best. Yes, because when I finish my dialysis, how I feel when I compare it to how I feel when I do it outside. Yeah, so I think Kolebu is quite good for me. I've been called to come and do a few laps before they call me to start coming.
Patients are required to provide their lab results before scheduling dialysis to prevent potential bacteria from private dialysis centers.
We really appreciate Kolebu for hearing our cry, the government hearing our cry, and then finally asking us to do our lab. As you can see, I've just come for my request to go and do my lab so that maybe on my next session I can easily have access to the place. Per our source, and if you don't take it, as they've reopened, maybe in a month or two, the place will be closed down. If the external things that they were talking about has not been done, the owing of the Fizenos, and then I think we will need more machines. Because as of now, the main Reno unit, the machines there all have broken down. So now they are bringing all the ward cases here. We, the OPD, we are normally about 250. We are many. As of now, per my checks, instead of our normal double sessions, we are going to get 1 a week, because that is what they can contain now, because a lot of pressure is on them now. So we will still appeal that they should get more machines so that they can fix the up there for the ward cases, for them to have it, so that the OPD can also have it, so that to bring the pressure down.
As patients eagerly return to the Reno unit, bringing in their lab results serves not only as a procedural necessity, but also as a collective effort to safeguard public health. Stay tuned for continuous updates on this encouraging development as the Reno unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital opens its doors to usher in a new chapter of healthcare accessibility for those grappling with kidney disease. Godwin Asidiba, TV3, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Accra.
Well, away from health, board chairman of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Paul Adomotri, maintained he did not interfere in the management of the company. This is his reaction to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shraj's report, which cited him for participating in the procurement process for Christmas trees, contrary to the law.
The ratio of the report is there. It is the reliefs, 3 reliefs that were sought by the claimant, and all 3 reliefs were denied. That's the ratio, that's the ruling, that's the ratio, that's the court ruling, that's the Shraj ruling. However, Shraj is an organization that is interested in the development of democracy. So they go ahead to make other comments. So they say what you are saying, for instance, that there was some interference. I do not believe so, because if you look at the board charter of the GACL, the board charter allows the board to have an overview over the activities of management. So that if a board chairman demands an invoice, and I'll tell you the story. The story is that at the time I went in there in 2021, I was told that a certain expenditure was going to be made on the Christmas tree. I said to the management and the MD that I do not think that the company is in a position to make that kind of expenditure. Therefore, I will not approve that expenditure, and that expenditure has to come low. You see, the management has a threshold of money they can approve. Beyond a certain amount, they come to the board. So naturally, that was going to come to the board because it has crossed the threshold of management. I said all of these things to Shraj. And so once it crossed the threshold of management, the board had to approve. In making that approval, we determined that the value of the Christmas tree spending should not go beyond a certain amount. Now, the request for the invoices, to see those invoices, was to ensure that there had been compliance with the new decision that had been taken by the board, that the Christmas tree expenditure be reduced significantly from the decisions that had been made in terms of the invoices that had come. This is what happened. So I do not see how a board that has a certain review jurisdiction over the management cannot ask for something when it is the board that has to approve the money, because the money has gone beyond the threshold of the management. This is what happened, and I explained this to Shraj. That is why, whilst I congratulate Shraj for his work, because they've done a good job, I am concerned that the application I made before Shraj, that I wanted to film the process, which application was denied, and I accepted this denial because the commissioner has the power to deny it. I really wanted to film this because the high public interest. Today, if they had allowed me to film, the record of the film would have been there. The film would have been played, and you would have seen the questions and answers, and you would have seen that I had told Shraj that the management threshold had been extended, and therefore the board needed to determine and approve that amount of money.
Now on to some more stories. Accra recorded a 17% decline in road fatalities from 123 in 2021 to 102 in 2022, according to the Accra Road Safety Report. Now, road safety advocates say increased sensitization and adequate investment into road infrastructure will reduce the numbers.
2,373 road traffic deaths were recorded in 2022, with pedestrians being the most affected, according to the report. Out of every 10 road fatalities, 8 are men. While small crashes were recorded on weekdays, fatalities increased on the weekend, with the Tetekwashi-Malam Highway, popularly referred to as N1, being a high-risk fatal crash corridor in the last 5 years.
The situation is dire, given that a majority of all the deaths recorded in Accra, not just for 2022, but over the last 5 years, have been among pedestrians. It is true that there have been some modest reductions in the overall number of deaths. There are minimum cost but high impact measures that can definitely be implemented to improve pedestrian safety, including providing designated crossings for them, reducing speeds around pedestrian built areas.
The National Road Safety Authority stated it will take swift action against road abusers.
The trend highlighted in the report can assist in allocating resources more efficiently. This includes financial resources, personnel and equipment, enforcement, education, and infrastructure development. Advocacy groups and NGOs can also use this report to make a case for policy changes and increase investment in road safety initiatives.
The 5th edition of the report was published by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Bloomberg Philanthropies, and Vital Strategies.
Let's do some politics now. And a senior member of the governing New Patriotic Party, Dr. Arthur Kennedy, says newly elected flag bearer of the party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, should strongly consider Kennedy Agyapong as his vice presidential candidate. Now, according to Dr. Arthur Kennedy, the positive attributes of Kennedy Agyapong brings a sense of discipline to the political landscape and could help the electoral fortunes of the MPP. Now, intense lobbying has already begun within the MPP for the vice presidential slot of the party, and names including Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh and the Education Minister Dr. Yawo Seye-Duchum, amongst others, have come up, but Dr. Arthur Kennedy says Kennedy Agyapong does have an upper hand.
Choice of running mate is always the prerogative of the presidential candidate, and it tells you who he is going to be in terms of making decisions. I think that in terms of signaling that he can understand the yearning for change and integrity and plain speaking, Kennedy Japan deserves serious consideration as a running mate on the MPP side. If you come to Alan, he is an independent candidate, so who he chooses as his running mate, particularly since the bulk of his campaign will focus on winning account votes, then the question is who he brings on board to try and show his weaknesses. John Mahama didn't quite make it with the choice of running mate the last time. And there are a lot of very well-informed people who think that maybe he should look elsewhere and reconsider, and that maybe looking for a running mate in a place like the Volta region or Ashanti region might be the wise thing to do. So all those.
Now, the Kuswag People's Congress has petitioned the government to establish a committee of inquiry to investigate the military abuses in the Boko municipality, Garu and Tempani districts since the beginning of 2023. President of the KPC, Professor John Azuma, issued a stern warning asserting that the people of Kuswag will persist in their efforts until the authorities address the issue.
A number of alleged military brutalities, including killings, have been recorded at Boko in the Upper East region. A total of 9 such incidents were recorded between February 1 and October 29. In the last incident, over 220 people were assaulted in Garu and Bugri. A number of the victims are still on admission at various hospitals. 8 people were also arrested and placed in custody for 1 week without trial.
We were treated as if we had no blood and were animals to be deployed on the field. What they did to us is inhumane and must not be repeated anywhere in the country. Why should a citizen like us suffer this way in our own country? Our leaders should make sure they get to the bottom of this matter.
The Kusal People's Congress says enough of the wanton atrocities against innocent civilians in the Boko enclave.
We are demanding an independent inquiry into what happened in Garu and Bugri. And we want compensation to all the victims who have been brutalized in this incident. And we want those who committed these crimes, those who gave the orders, and those who came and did the beating. They should all be brought to account.
The association presented a petition to the district chief executives for Garu and Tempani.
We are not going to rest until we get to the bottom of this matter. We trust our military. We've trained them. We've armed them. We've uniformed them so that they will protect us, not so that they will brutalize us, not so that they will terrorize us, not so that they will torture our people. We are also doing this to protect the image of the military.
The 2 district chief executives, Isaka Anabida and Osman Musa, associated themselves with the people and pledged to ensure their demands are met.
We condemn the act because the attack that happened was an attack on the chiefs and the people of the area, as well as we as district chief executives, because we were not aware of their presence in Garu and Tempani.
We will scale the petition to the higher authority, and we'll be doing that swiftly. We will not be doing that alone, but we will also follow up to make sure that authorities give it the attention that it deserves.
Now, starting today, November 8, an environmental and sanitation impact assessment will be conducted in communities affected by the Akosombo and Pondam spillage as residents' relocation demands intensify. The spillage has displaced over 39,000 residents in 8 districts, affecting 192 communities. I'm currently in the Mafi Adidome community here in the central Ton district of the Volta region, and evidently the water has begun receding. Here it's completely gone, but in other communities, of course, the water is gradually receding and life is bouncing back to normalcy for these communities. But what is left to be known is when others will be resettled into their homes or into other temporary places for them to have a better life for themselves. And this has been one of the concerns of the traditional leaders here in these communities.
For now, we'll need some resettlements for those whose buildings collapsed, because we need to free the classrooms for the children to go back to school. So the resettlement plan should be very quick. Yes, so especially the secondary school. The primary schools, they are managing under trees and church halls and things like that. But the secondary school, they've not started at all because people are camping there.
Mamaga Ajusreku IV is Queen Mother of the Mepe traditional area. Although she admits water levels have significantly receded in her community, the buildings are not conducive enough for habitation.
We need engineers to come and see how the integrity of those buildings before people enter them, because what we don't want is for people to go home and then have buildings collapse over them.
Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, Saji Amedonu, however, explains structural testing will begin in the affected communities on November 8 to ascertain the levels of contamination.
We have a team to conduct some environmental and sanitation assessment and structural integrity test of the structures. They are starting work tomorrow morning, and they have about 3 days to present their report. Then we'll quickly move to decontamination. At least this assessment will bring out exactly what level of contamination there is to those infrastructure that were affected in the emergency.
Energy Minister Matthew Poku-Prempeh, who made some donations in the Northern District, announced that government is working on a permanent solution for relocation through the Interministerial Committee.
So government will roll out things that they think would help. They've seen the impact of what government is doing, and they don't think there's a need to move its people to Saglaba. I'm not sure if Saglaba is available to be moved into. So we'll continue eternal vigilance and eternal support. We ask every able Ghanaian willing and able to help to come to the aid of the people.
39,336 persons in 8 districts have been displaced as a result of the floods, with 192 communities affected. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Mepe, Volta Region. And that's all for the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. Do stay tuned for the rest of the program on New Day.